Well, good afternoon, everybody. And if you're on the channel app, you just want to like and share this. The other thing I want to ask everyone to do, and I'll keep asking this right the way throughout the stream, depending on how many people we get in. I'd really like people to go across to my other channel. I'll just drop it in the stream now so you can see it. So just bear with me 2 seconds. So let's get this. Share screen. And let's get it in there. Let's get it in the live there. There we go. Good stuff. So Counter Media on YouTube. If you're watching this on the Richard Inman channel, if you can even just subscribe to the Counter Media one, because what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start putting a lot more content on Counter Media than I've got on the Richard Inman one. I'm going to use both because I think this is what this is all about. This is why I'm doing this live stream this lunchtime. The situation with free speech in this country is getting totally out of hand. Now, let's hope that our American friends can do something, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the problems we got is the platforms, I'm not going to name them, a lot of the platforms are not exactly free speech friendly. Let's just put it that way. You've got to jump through all sorts of hoops. That's why there's all sorts of things that we can't say on this channel that we can say on X. And I just want to make everyone aware of that. So I'm going to keep both channels going. But the difference is this channel has been demonetized since I think 2019 or 2018. I've got about 43,000 people on it, but I don't get a penny in terms of revenue from the actual channel. Now, obviously, it takes a lot of time to do all this, to set all this sort of stuff up and research and do videos and do live streams and then calm down after you've done a live stream. So if you could jump across onto Counter Media before we start the stream today, jump across onto Counter Media, like and subscribe to Counter Media, and again, start watching the content on Counter Media. And if you want to just watch it on Richard Inman, that's absolutely fine. The good thing about the Richard Inman channel, as far as I know, you don't have to see any adverts with the Richard Inman one, but that would get a little bit of revenue in that would help me expand the channels. That's what I want to do. I really want to build this up so that we're actually making a real impact. Because at the minute, obviously, there's loads of us doing this and we're all doing it on an empty tank. Be great to get Counter Media and YouTube to give us a few quid so we can actually pay for something decent, get some decent cameras and get something decent going and get some decent reporting going, especially in Ireland. Anyway, enough about that. I want to talk about this story in the Independent. I'm going to drop this in the comments now. So, and obviously this is all over. I just picked the one from the Independent, which funnily enough for the Independent, I mean, I pretty much despise the Independent, but this reporting in the Independent seems to be pretty good. Now let me know let me know you can still hear me there. Of course, you're not going to be able to tell me you can hear me if I've just put that in there. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I'm obviously showing you this here. In fact, I tell you what, I'll just do it that way so I'm in the corner there. Okay, so what's happened? So Donald Trump apparently is fuming about what's going on with the free speech in the UK, and he is basically got a team in the State Department who are now monitoring free speech in the United Kingdom. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of find that, to say the least, a little bit degrading for the United Kingdom. I'm not blaming Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump's doing exactly the right thing, but that just shows you how far things have gone with Keir Starmer. It shows you what sort of an individual Keir Starmer is and what sort of government we've got. But the other thing we've got to remember is, guys, this has been going on since Theresa May at least, and way before. I mean, every time Tommy got put in prison, it was always under a Conservative government until, well, sorry, maybe it's not at the very beginning, but for the last 10 years, it was every time Tommy went to prison, it was when we had a Conservative Prime Minister. So let's not just think that this is the vile, disgusting Keir Starmer, and he is vile and he is disgusting. No, it's not just about Keir Starmer. This is about all of them and the Uni Party and the whole lot. And again, this is why we need this fundamental change that we keep talking about, But this is really, really encouraging that Donald Trump's got involved in this. It says, the Independent says, Donald Trump has revived his explosive free speech row. That sounds like a YouTube title. That's clickbait if you've ever seen it. Donald Trump has revived his explosive free speech row with Keir Starmer with a decision to monitor the case of Lucy Connelly. And then it goes on to say that the woman jailed for an online rant about migrants. Okay, it's the Independent. You know, I mean, what do we expect except that from the Independent? The reality is, again, if we look at what she actually said, she didn't encourage anybody to do anything. She just said they could do something for all she cared. She was saying she didn't care about these people after what happened to the three girls. And it says it's examining the treatment of 42-year-old Connolly, the wife of a former Conservative councillor who was sentenced to 31 months after she made a post on X in the hours after three girls. Now, why do these newspapers use this language? Three girls were stabbed and killed. No, the three girls were brutally murdered by a terrorist. Can we just get that right? Brutally murdered. You know, if you're a journalist and you're watching this, just let me give you a little lesson. They weren't stabbed and killed. They were brutally murdered by a terrorist. And I think that's really important. At a Taylor Swift themed dance class, the most innocent of things, as we all know. And we know what happened. It wasn't just Lucy Connolly. Everybody's getting dragged into this. And obviously, even Tommy, and that's why I put Tommy in the title of this, because I wonder, is Trump and are the team in the United States going to start advocating and standing up for Tommy Robinson? Because he's suffering exactly the same situation. He's now being dragged across the coals by the Met for nothing. Okay, let's have a look at some of these comments, see what people are saying. Okay, let me get right to the top there. Okay, John Kerr, at least a start. Yeah, it is, John. It's a start, and like you say, it's time to ask about the charges being brought against Tommy Robinson again, and again. Why isn't Tommy out yet? I mean, I haven't been in touch with the team this morning. I spoke to him over the weekend, but Tommy's not out, as far as I know. Why isn't he out? What are they doing? Are they trying to prepare charges and keep him in? And that's what's really been worrying me. By the way, guys, like and share this if you can. Let's get this shared as widely as we possibly can. And as I said earlier, if you can jump across and watch it on Counter Media, that'd be great as well if we could do that. Okay, let's have a look. Shohab, good afternoon. Hi, Shohab. Hi, Richard. Trump's a legend. Absolutely agree. Trump's an absolute legend. And I mean, where's the British Donald Trump? That's the problem that we've got. We don't have one because it's, well, I'm not going to start naming names, but there's a whole lot of egos and very little substance in the political right. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. God bless you, Richard. Thank you for standing up for righteousness. Thanks very much, Jane. Really appreciate that. And yes, Jesus is Lord. I agree with that 100%. Starmer needs to be pressurized. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think this is the only way this is going to happen if we have Trump and people like Trump really going at this. By the way, I can't look at the camera when I'm doing this, guys, so it looks like I'm not looking at everybody, but I am paying attention. That's why I'm reading the comments here. Hello, Richard. Trump is watching Starmer closely. Free speech, Lucy Connolly, and Tommy's political persecution. The UK has become North Korea. It's not far off. It's not far off North Korea, is it? Not far off North Korea. And that's the worrying thing. Yeah, good to see you again, John. We'll have to catch up again soon, mate. Maybe just come down on a Friday night. Just turn my notifications to all on this channel. I wondered why it was only your other channel that notified me. Yeah, I mean, the reality is I want people watching it on Counter Media. If you can jump across to Counter Media, guys, and watch it on Counter Media, because we want to start building the traffic up, building the content up on Counter Media, because I think Counter Media is going to be the one that's going to take over. But I'm keeping both going because I just don't trust any of the platforms. You know, I'm very, very wary of what I say. I'm very wary of what I do, because again, and this is something where the US can have a massive impact. They can go to well, not mention the channel. They can go to some of these platforms and say to them, like they did with Facebook. And I don't know if, you know, I don't do much on Facebook. I haven't got an account on Facebook. I'm involved with a couple of pages, but I don't have a genuine account. So I wonder, in the way that they said something to Facebook, can they say it to Google? Can they say it to the other platforms that are messing about? Because it's great to have freedom on Twitter, but Twitter's one realm. The big battle now is being fought on YouTube, and YouTube have got a lot better when it comes to freedom of speech, certainly since November last year, certainly since Trump came to power. But the question is, can JD Vance or Trump or the State Department lean on the platforms in the US and say, we need more freedom from you guys, and then go to the British government and say, you can't use the online safety bill against our platforms, because if you do, we're going to put massive tariffs on you. And we're going to, so that's what I'm wondering. Can that happen? Because, getting Lucy Connolly out is only part of the battle. It's making sure she doesn't go in again. And, will the government learn a lesson from this now and maybe stop banging people up, stop persecuting Tommy and putting Tommy in prison? Okay. I've got it playing with volume off and counter media off. Thanks. Appreciate that, Helen. That's really kind of you. Okay. Free Lucy Connolly and also Tommy Robinson, all political prisoners. Again, why isn't Tommy out? Why is Tommy still in prison at the minute? USA has investments in the UK, so they have every right to intervene. Absolutely right, they do. Absolutely right. And look, here's the thing about America. America is the land of the free. They have the First Amendment. We need a First Amendment in the United Kingdom. But the Americans, this would have been, we would be sitting in a very, very different dispensation if that weird woman, can't even remember her name. What was her name? Can't remember the second name. Kamala something or other, wasn't it? Kamala Harris. If she'd have won that election, it would have been a catastrophe for the West. I mean, Trump, thank goodness Trump is in power. But what happens in 4 years' time? What happens at our next election? And what happens at the next presidential election in the United States? This needs to be a project that needs to roll for about 30 years. I mean, probably most people watching this will be long gone by the time that happens. But if we can lay the groundwork and we can get people on the right track, and again, the direction I'm going in, guys. I'm not gonna pretend it's anything else. I'm going faith, family, flag in that order. That's what I'm doing, because I think if we get the faith right, and if we get Christianity back into the mainstream, if we get Christian principles and Christian morals right the way throughout the whole of British society and British culture, it will change things. And the best way to protect freedom is to have a country that is based on Christian values, because a country based on Christian values will by default be a peaceful, placid country. And you could say, well, look at what happened in Northern Ireland. That was not about Christianity, and anyone that lives over here knows it wasn't about Christianity. Okay. Forgotten Tommy, absolutely. Frank Hyman, get Lucy and all political prisoners out. Totally agree with that one. John Kerr, it's now time to look into the charges brought against Tommy Robinson. But yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely 100%. Absolutely 100%. What the pastor's about Prince Harry. Prince Harry and his witch wife for 6 years works for organizations trying to take America. And absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more with that. It's absolutely true. I'm no fan of the Ginger Ninja and his and his B category actor wife. When KS went to Oval Office, guessing DT on current format was going to bring up the topic until KS whipped out the king. In fact, yeah, I think that could be it. I think that's the thing. I mean, I think the problem we got with Trump, he's a bit in awe of the royal family, and unfortunately, our royal family, as it currently stands, probably isn't what he's expecting. The Queen was a totally different kettle of fish, but not old Charlie boy. No. I'm very, very. I'm feeling sorry for Trump because he's going to be sorely disappointed when he meets Charlie. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If there's any royalists in here, I'm sure you'll put me right on that one. But yeah, I'm watching and chatting on Richard Inman and having my phone. Sorry, I looked at that one already. they're scared to release Tommy in case he goes to the embassy. They will get the charges sorted out. I think that's right, Tina. I think they'll do a gate arrest. He'll go out and he'll get to the gate. And that's what I'm worried about. And I think if that happens, you know, there's what we've got 600 people on here today with a couple of thousand on Friday. I'm not going to go too long today, by the way, guys. Got a lot of words to do. But I think if that happens, then we need to up the ante on the protests, and we need to do weekly, maybe twice a week, protests, free Tommy protests. Because if they remand him and they start playing funny games, well, then I think we need to take to the streets in numbers, peacefully, legally, obviously within the law, the usual stuff. But we need to have some really noisy protests where we let people know that we're not going to put up with our national treasure being locked up and sitting rotting in prison. Thanks for that, Bess. Yes, again, guys, if you can go across to Counter Media, just type Counter Media in YouTube, it'll come up. It's a funny looking logo that I've designed with it's on a black background with a C in it. And yeah, go across to that channel, like and subscribe, and start watching the content on that channel if you could. I mean, again, I'm delighted that you're watching on anything. Okay, nobody else is going to save us. Yeah. Do you know what, Kathleen? I've been saying that for ages. And do you know, I'm very, very disturbed with a lot of the infighting and the slandering and just the way. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm very disappointed in a lot of the politicians on our side, because they're not behaving like politicians. A lot of them. The sniping and the backbiting and the infighting and the egos, and some of the way some of them behaving, behaving more like they're at a football match than they are politicians. It's unseemly. It's unseemly. And I'll probably be having a word with one or two people that I think they're behaving in a very, very bad manner. But they see problems in social media and not controlling the narrative, and it's bringing people together. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that for the first time in our history, this is really a genuine people power movement, because it's all you guys in the comments that are driving this. It's people that are basically passionate about the country, that are, on their lunch and work, they're jumping on a live and listening to some middle-aged ex-squaddy talk about goodness knows what. Today it's free speech, tomorrow who knows what it'll be. But I think the reality is that that's the situation we're in. We're all basically we are nobodies. Well, I am, and we've got a voice now because of the internet. We're not immoderate. We're sensible. We've got good ideas. We know what we're doing. We know what we're trying to achieve. And again, I think the plan's this. I genuinely mean this. I think the plan goes something like this. Again, we need to seriously consider Christianity as an option for an ideology and an overarching moral fabric for the country, which it was. Like, I mean, it shouldn't. It's a no-brainer, really. It was like that for a couple of thousand years, wasn't it? Or at least 1700 years or whatever, since Augustine came to Canterbury. Anyway, putting all that to one side, this country needs a complete reformation, spiritual, moral, political, everything. And I'm speaking to myself, all of us, because we've all messed up. We've all been part of the problem. I certainly have. And I think we need to seriously think about how we put that right. And let's say, to me, Christianity is a big part of it, but also building our families, building our communities. And then it's when you get to the flag, because like I say, culture is downstream of religion and politics is downstream of culture. So the religion and the ideology that we're based on comes first. And we've tried the woke stuff. We've tried the atheist stuff. We've tried all the communism, the socialism. It's a disaster. It doesn't work. We need to get back to basics and get back to what we are, which is a fundamentally tolerant, peaceful, peace-loving Christian nation. But how do we do that? And this is where the pledge comes in. This is where the pledge is really important, because the pledge isn't for Christians. The pledge is for everybody. It's the people's pledge. And if we get a critical mass with the pledge, now I did a bit of work on the pledge on the database over the weekend. There's a lot of duplication because obviously, quite understandably, people are enthusiastic. A lot of people signed up twice. So we've got about 54,000 people signed up to the pledge that are genuine email addresses that I can email tomorrow. They're all over the country. I know where they all are. We know where they all are. We've got the team together. We've got me. We've got Jeff. We've got David. We've got Paul. And what we need to do is get as many people to sign up to the pledge.org.uk. And if you haven't done it, just dive on pledge.org.uk, sign up, fill in your postcode, because that's really important. Because the reason we're getting the postcodes is so that we can target politicians by constituency. Now, if we get up to 100,000 in short order, that's good, because it basically means that we've got probably a thin spread of people right the way through the UK. But if we get over 1 million on the pledge, then we're in a completely different ballpark, because 1 million people has a massive amount of power. That means you can literally decide seats. And the reality is, let's get it right. This is what the Muslim vote are doing. This is what the left do. They will be standing aside, and they'll be putting candidates in that agree with their progressive values. And if it's the Muslim vote with their Islamist values, that's what they're going to do. So what are we going to do on the right? Just have all these fragmented parties, standing outside Downing Street shouting, "I'm going to be Prime Minister in 4 years' time"? No, you're not. No, you're not. It's not going to happen. And people have got to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that we need a coming together. And the best thing to bring people together is a pledge, because it just seems like the politicians are completely incapable of doing it. Completely incapable of doing it. Whereas the pledge is the people's pledge. It is values that we all agree in, because there's 50-odd thousand people who have already signed up to it. So that's the vast majority of followers. So between my two channels have certainly signed it. So if we get the pledge really, really built up to massive numbers, like I say, around 1 million, it can have a massive effect. But again, it's down to you guys. Someone was asking. What we don't do as well. I haven't been emailing people every 2 minutes and bugging people with emails, because I'm going to start doing more of that, because I think some people do want us to be a bit more in touch with them. But the reason I haven't done that is because I know we all get shed loads of emails every day from so many different sites and so many different things that we've signed up to, that I don't want to be harassing people. I think the whole team are in agreement on that. But we'll probably start doing one email a month as things progress. But the reality is, the pledge is there for you, and the pledge is there to call these politicians to account. It covers everything. It covers immigration. It covers global warming. It covers anti-white racism. It covers the woke stuff. It covers all of this stuff, right? It covers all racism, actually. It covers anti-Semitism. It covers all the horrendous stuff that we're all against. It's a document of moderation, and it is based on Christian values. But you don't have to be a Christian to sign it at all. Great stuff, Scott. I'm going to look at some of these comments, guys. But I honestly think the pledge is the answer, because I don't see politicians getting their act together. I really don't, unfortunately. And that's sad. That's sad. There's just too much ego and too much self involved in all this. And the pledge isn't anybody's. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's the people's pledge. It's your pledge. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there, because I think me and Jeff Taylor are going to do something on the pledge later on in the week. A lot of the church, absolutely, Helen. This is a big problem, massive problem. Well, I mean, mate, listen, it's free speech. You can have your say. You can put stuff in the comments. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, okay. I can't listen to Farage anymore. Yeah. Well, this thing, Farage, very, very arrogant. Strutting around, oh, I'm going to be Prime Minister, I'm going to be in Downing Street, whatever. And he doesn't, he's attacking people like Ben and Rupert, who are great guys. I mean, when I talk about politicians, I'm not talking about Ben and Rupert, because Ben and Rupert are great guys. In fact, I wish Ben and Rupert would actually do something, join together and set something up so that we've got an alternative to reform and everything else that's going on. But, yeah, we need T-shirts with the pledge and what it means. That's a really good idea, actually, Christina. That's a really, really good idea. Okay. What's that? We all need a country that is now devoid of any real morals. Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with that. Thanks, John. You see, John gets me. Well, don't worry, you'll get used to it, mate. If you hang around, you'll get used to it. You'll be fine. Don't worry. It's 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 as John says. It's just the way I am. John Rankin, what was it? Richard, can you put the QR code on, mate? You know what? I can't. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get the site up. Sorry. I'll get the site up and I'll just share the screen. Okay. So let's just share this tab instead so everybody can see where it is. Okay. So, wait, is that sharing? Let me share that. Okay, there you go, guys. That's it. The pledge.org.uk. So if you get to that, and it's really simple, you go down, you read through them all. Just read through a bit of that. Stands for freedom, equality under law, real democracy and family. We start to build a peaceful, prosperous and patriotic society, reclaim our nation's identity, its Christian traditions, culture and values, give courage and hope to the British people, resist tyranny. So that's what the pledge is about. So if anyone couldn't sign that, honestly, here's the thing. This is the way I see this, guys, right? See if you can't sign the pledge, then to me, there's only a few options out there on the table. You're either a little bit thick because you don't understand what it is and what it's trying to do. If that's the case, well, we can explain, so don't worry about that. Or you're a lefty, or you're a complete far right nut job that doesn't want anything to do with something that's against anti-Semitism and wants to have a nice tolerant country, or you're a state actor. It's one of those 3 or 4 options, or you just really don't like me, and that's fine if you don't like me. There's plenty of people who don't like me, but sign the pledge anyway, because the pledge is not just me. I didn't even write the thing. It's my friend David who wrote the pledge. So yeah, sign the pledge, guys. It takes 2 minutes, if that, to sign the pledge. And once you've done it, then that means coming up to the election, we'll be emailing everybody, come up to the election. And Shob, you don't know me well enough, mate. No, there's not that many people like, but I don't care. It's a bit. I think it was Millwall, wasn't it? The old Millwall chant was, they all hate us, but we don't care. That's kind of like me. If people want to hate me, that's completely up to them. I don't really care. But yeah, I mean, Tommy shouldn't be in jail. Tommy should not be in jail because Tommy, to me, the whole thing has been. Thanks, Shohab. This is the real bromance we're having here. I love you too, Shohab. Don't worry about it, mate. This is the whole thing with Tommy. He shouldn't be in prison. He shouldn't have gone to prison for contempt. I mean, it is, and then to be put in solitary confinement, he's put in the wrong category. It's just punishment all the way with Tommy, and it's evil. And I think we've got to take to the streets in big numbers, peacefully, legally, within the law. Not going to do anything crazy, and we've got to do that. So I'm just going to post the domain name for the pledge in the comments here. I think we're going to have to do that. I think if it doesn't, if he doesn't get out in the next couple of days, I think we've got to take to the streets. Get your free banner, your free Tommy banners. Get them all done. Get free Tommy banners, and let's take to the street and let's make some noise for Tommy, because again, it's part of the thing. So to me, and again, I used to get a lot of stick slagging reform off, but to me, and I've said this right the way from the beginning, reform cannot be trusted with the keys of 10 Downing Street in its current guise. It can't be. So, and it's getting a lot of traction and a lot of head of steam, but there needs to be more. There needs to be coming together of all the smaller parties. And I've said that UKIP, SDP, Ben and Rupert, and the rump of the Tories. That's what I think has to happen. Now, that's my opinion. If people don't like it, I don't really care. What's it say? I've never really thought peaceful protest any good, but I was at Leeds protest on Saturday. We all turned our backs on the loony lefty. Yes, Stephen, that's the way to do it, man. And that it's far more effective. Peaceful protests, believe you me, I've been in I've been involved in protests that have got a little bit kinetic. I've been involved in, when I was in the military in Northern Ireland, in riots and stuff, and I've been involved in peaceful protests. Peaceful protests are far better and far safer, but it's far better. It's far better to get the masses. The masses, once you start rioting, you lose the masses. Every mass movement that's ever happened in Northern Ireland, once the rioting started, the straight goers just melt away, and you're just left with it. You end up left with a hard core of people who are rioting. Yeah, so it's the same in England. If it goes violent, we lose the straight, honest, decent people. It's just a fact of the matter, and you're just left with people that want to go and cause aggro and cause trouble. So much as I understand people's frustrations, rioting and violence is not and never will be the answer, and I will never condone it and never promote it on this channel, because again, there's a few people I know in the comments here watching today that are from Northern Ireland. We all went through the troubles. You know, some of us were in the military, some of us, you know, weren't. But the truth of the matter is that we know what happens when it goes wrong, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, to prevent that happening, because we don't want our country to turn into some sort of war zone. Okay, we need to be very, very careful about that. Richard, coming out of this, Debbie, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I mean, I'm just worried that they will try something with him at the gates, and if they don't, then there's going to be an issue. Now, if he gets remanded on the 5th of June, I think it's got to be street protests as well. I really do. I absolutely really do. And I mean, if you look at the way, there's someone talking about Antifa. If you look at the way Antifa have been behaving, if you had a decent government, and they would be prescribed as a terrorist organization. They've been attacking people. They've been attacking elderly people. They've been doing all sorts of dreadful stuff. And, you know, sooner or later, somebody's going to get very, very seriously hurt or worse. And obviously, we don't want that. Yep, duct taping. Now, the problem is when you pull duct tape off your mouth, you don't want to use the real hard stuff, because it wouldn't be nice. But yes, certainly duct tape your mouth, because we are being silenced, and that's a very good way to do it. And again, in when the three little angels were murdered, the one of the things that was suggested, that I suggested, was a candlelit vigil. And again, it didn't happen, but I think a candlelit vigil would have been very, very powerful. You know, just wait till after dark, go there with candles, light candles outside, wherever you're going. Okay, yes, jump over to Counter Media and give it a thumbs up. Yeah, like and subscribe to Counter Media would be absolutely great. Australia, giant flying wing phoenix taking dragon on satellite map of Australia turned upside down. Dark red, usher in the middle of continent, has youngest break. I don't get that. Sorry, I just don't get that, Jamie. I must be missing something. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands into iniquity. The Book of Psalms is the most amazing collection of poetry anywhere in the world. It's absolutely phenomenal. If you want to start reading the Bible, start in the Book of Psalms and John's Gospel. Absolutely superb. See, Andy Cabby done video saying he's been told not to talk about politics. I haven't watched that. I must actually watch that. I'm going to have a look at that when I get off here and see what it is. Listen, I'm not going to stop talking about politics until they lock me up. Simple as that. You know, if it's a police state, they will eventually lock me up. When it becomes not a police state, then it's job done. So either way, I'm going to keep going. We're not saying anything illegal. We're not encouraging anything extreme. We are the voice of reason. We're the voice of common sense. We're the voice of sanity. We're against injustice. We're against evil. We're against everything bad that's happening. So, and listen, I've been cancelled, man. I've been cancelled so many times in business, lost jobs, lost contracts, lost all sorts of stuff as a result of doing this activism. Because it's a bit like communist Russia. The people that made problems for people in communist Russia were greedy criminals and psychopaths. And there's greedy criminals and psychopaths that make problems for all of us. And you know, I've had a competitor that's had to go for years, you know, doing this. Oh, thanks for that, Bess. Let's get those t-shirts printed. Exactly. But this is the thing. This is why I mean, I get really annoyed. You know, there's been a lot of people attacking friends of mine, particularly Paul Thorpe. And, oh, he's making money out of this. He's doing this. I know how hard Paul worked when he was full tilt at this with the politics. He was doing 16, 17-hour days. He was driving all over the country. He was going to see politicians. You know, he was spending a lot of his own money. He was giving a lot of money to different organizations within the movement. I know he certainly gave to Urban Scoop and he gave to other things. And people attack him. It really annoyed me. Now, you know, if I can make enough money out of this to do this full time and basically be able to give you guys the news you want, give you guys the political analysis, run the pledge, you know, do all the other web stuff I'm doing, I would do it. And you know, and the reality is when I'm doing this, I'm not earning money for my family, you know. So I appreciate anyone that supports what I'm doing. I appreciate anyone that supports the channels and supports me, you know, and loads of people have done it through Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal. In fact, I'm gonna drop the PayPal link up here, guys, because you can give through PayPal as well to support what we're doing. And again, you know, it's every little bit's appreciated, and every little bit makes a massive difference. And it just means that I've got more time to do it, because it takes a long time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money for all of us to do this. It's the same with Tommy's team. It's the same with everybody that's doing this sort of stuff to any level. Okay, yes, it's very annoying that we haven't got freedom of speech when Tommy's been released. If you Polanders are fighting for this country to do sport, yeah, Antonia, I absolutely appreciate that. Thanks so much for that. Declared etched into the landscape by the Holy Spirit and overlapping. Okay, get that right. I'm with you. Okay, gotcha. Okay, everyone ask your children what they are learning about Christianity at school. It's shocking how little they know. Exactly. I mean, another thing that I'm going to do, another thing I'm going to actually try and get organized, and I've got all that. I mean, it's not difficult. I want to on one of my websites, I'm going to put up some basic Christian, not really even Christian teaching, but some basically history of Christianity. Very, very basic things like, you know, some stuff from the Gospels, the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, the Apostles' Creed, even though the Apostles' Creed isn't in the Bible, some basic Christian doctrine, so everybody understands what Christianity is. Because I'm very lucky living in Northern Ireland. When I came to Northern Ireland, I was a total pagan, didn't know anything about Christianity, even though I've been confirmed with the Church of England, really knew nothing about it. But Northern Ireland was the most Christian, and probably still is the most Christian part of Europe, possibly the world. Absolutely everywhere you go, there's churches. They have these little wayside pulpits, these little boards that are nailed to lampposts and telegraph poles, you know, things like prepare to meet thy God, you know, the end draweth nigh, you know, all that sort of stuff, just to make you really think. You know, there's a big rock out in Strangford Lough, and on the rock it just says eternity where, you know. So all this sort of stuff, and there's a big barn. In fact, Rihanna made it famous. There's a big barn just outside Bangor where I live, and it has John 3:16. For God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. It's on the side of a barn. It's absolutely massive. And to me, all that sort of stuff is needed. And when I was in England as an Englishman, never came across it. So the vast majority of English people, I would imagine, are pretty unsure of what Christianity is all about and what it means, and what it means to be a Christian, and what the faith's about. And I think that's where, you know, if I can help with that, and I am going to do that again when I get the time. It's all about time and a trade-off between time and money. But if I can get the time to do it, then if I can get the time to do it, I'll do it. I'll put some basic Christian teaching out there. And listen, I've always said I'm the worst example, but what I'm saying is, I know it's true, and we've got to really double down on all of this stuff. And again, hopefully the politicians will come round and realise the direction of travel that the country's going in, and that the Overton windows shifted massively. I mean, the Conservatives, bless them, decided they thought, you know, there was leaking rumours that they were going to bring Boris back. I mean, Boris is an author of this, our downfall. And I made a speech when Tommy was in prison. We were doing a free Tommy demo in 2019, and we had the big red bus outside the BBC. And I made a speech that says, listen, don't trust Boris Johnson, because Boris ain't going to save you. you know. But oh yeah, okay. Shops opening on Sundays. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Funny, me and my wife were talking about that the other day. We're saying exactly the same thing. That shops opening on a Sunday, um, you know, it killed people that work in retail have to work on a Sunday. It killed family life. You know, and people now go shopping. You know, yeah, Carl Lewis, mate, that's totally up to you. You can be a pagan. I'm absolutely fine with that. All my point is that our traditions are Christian, and that's what's made Britain great. You know, if we're all still pagans, we'd all still be running around with woad on and very little else. You know, grabbing whoever we fancy. I mean, I know that sounds a bit like Newcastle on Saturday night, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, Richard, I think JD Vance will take over from Trump. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, because JD Vance is the man without a shadow of a doubt. And look, Trump is getting older. I think Trump's great, but he's getting old. Sooner or later, he's just, you know, physics and biology. He's bound to decline unless, you know, miraculously he's kept you know, he's kept going. No, it doesn't. It doesn't help the pledge. We don't. There's nothing. There's nothing on the pledge. We haven't asked for a penny on the pledge. We probably will have to at some point, because it's cost a lot of money and a lot of time. But we've never asked for a penny on the pledge. We did it all completely free of charge. Paid for it out of our own pockets. Self-funded everything. It's probably sitting around, including the event that we did, not much change out of 20 grand. And you know, so we basically self-funded the pledge. No, it's for Counter Media, AC. That's what I would certainly appreciate any funding for. That'd be helpful. Okay, can Farage not redeem himself? I hope he does, John. I hope he does. I really do hope he does. I hope we can push him. I hope we can push him to the direction he needs to go into. You know, that's not a religion, Lee, but listen, I agree with you on the beer and the guns. I'm married, so I can't agree with you on the women. Okay. I'm afraid UK is finishing, Canada is next. I think there's fighting as yet. I think there's definitely fighting as yet. I think we'll have a renaissance, and we'll basically we'll see some sort of a comeback. Okay. PayPal, yeah, PayPal is the best way to support without a shadow of a doubt. Because it's easier. I mean, most everybody's got a PayPal account. The thing is, if I can get monetized on the other channel, and I get, you know, a decent income coming in from that, then it's going to help a lot. You know, if I get the other one going, the Counter Media one, and we can get some decent ad revenue on it. But again, you need to be up around 100,000 subscribers, and, you know, getting sort of, you know, 50 to 100,000 views on your videos for anything, you know, for it to be anyway decent. But yeah, I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it's, you know, it's little acorns. We just start nice and easy and see where we end up. Okay, Farage, sorry, is that one? Scotty John, 1 million people march for Iraq. Yeah, that's true. It's the only way you can do it is through politics. The only way you can do it through politics, and that's the question: can we actually do it? And I think we can. I think we can. I really do. Yeah, and not just that, Farage. The problem is, Farage won't have anything to do with any of us. He really won't. Really won't. It's, you know, it's desperate. It's desperate what's happening with reform. Okay. Exactly, Kerry. Baby steps turn large strides. Let's get back to the original thing we were talking about, which was Lucy Connelly. Now, what I'm hoping is that this pressure will somehow miraculously allow Lucy Connolly's case to be looked at very, very quickly and very soon, and on compassionate reasons they'll let her out. And I also hope that the US State Department is looking at the case of Tommy Robinson, because if it's not, then we've got a, you know, we definitely, well, we know we've got a two-tier system. So I'm just going to go back to full screen here, guys. So yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for jumping on and watching. Let's wait and see what happens over the next few days and weeks with Tommy. Getting him out is the most important thing at the minutes. Now, I was told at the weekend that his team think, by one of his team, that they think he's almost certainly getting out. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. But what they're worried about is the 5th of June. So again, I can't make it to England at the minute. But if you can get to wherever the trial is on the 5th of June, or the hearing on the 5th of June, I think his team put that out last week, that they want people to go there on the 5th of June outside the court. If people can get there, then get there. And I think if he does get remanded, this is talking about Tommy now, if he does get remanded, I think what we've got to do is start mass, peaceful, legal, legitimate street protests, free Tommy protests in every town, city and village throughout the country. And the reality is, if you do that, they have to be policed, because that's what the police are there for, to make sure everybody's safe. If we do that within the law, we do it legitimately, people will take notice and they will listen. I'm going to shoot off, guys, because I've got loads of work to do. But thanks, everyone, for coming. Thanks, everyone, for diving in the comments. If I didn't get all your comments up there, I apologize for that. But, you know, I think this is building. What I'm doing on YouTube is building, and it's down to you guys watching. So if you could like, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Counter Media. I'm going to keep both going. I'm going to keep Richard Inman going. I'm going to keep Counter Media going. The Richard Inman channel probably got a little bit more freedom to say what I want. On Twitter, I'm saying exactly what I want. So if you want to go across onto Twitter, and I'm going to start doing a little bit more on Twitter. But yeah, let's just keep this going, guys. Like and subscribe to all the channels, and I'll see you all soon. And let's just hope. Isn't she just, Alan? Well, look, the artwork's hers. I mean, the bulldog, she did that ages ago. She bought me the light in the background there for Christmas, and she bought me the no, she didn't. She made the Union Jack as well. So this studio is completely down to her. Like she said that to me the other day. She said it earlier on today. She says, "Oh, that's my studio." I says, "Well, I'm the presenter, so I mean, you've done the design in the background, but I'm the presenter, you know." But yeah, the bulldog's great. The bulldog's great, Lucy. The bulldog is absolutely. Sorry, I put the wrong thing up there. Let me get that up there. Where's it gone? Yeah. Oh, there you go, Dave. That's why you love the bulldog, because you got one. So yeah, it's fantastic. So it just looks a little bit more like it should look. When I had the desk turned the other way, I'm going to shatter everyone's illusions. This office is like a complete bomb site. This is just the little tidy wall behind me. Everything else is completely chaotic, just like the rest of my life. But yeah, no, thanks for the compliments on the whatchamacallit, the studio. Guys, I'm going to go. Great seeing you all, and let's do this all again. Let's do this all again soon, and let's hope for good news. Let's hope Lucy Connolly and Tommy get free, and let's hope that that Keir Starmer is sweating buckets because Trump's on his case, and you know he's going to have to go to the White House soon again and sit with Trump, and I think you know I think he might have a few problems next time he comes. Morag, listen, better late than never. It's great to have you on. It's great to have you on here. Thanks for that, John. Sacked. Yeah, it would be great to see Keir Starmer get sacked, wouldn't it just? And of course, oh, by the way, I just want to say, I mean, I don't know much about the strike. I mean, we went to one in Newton Ards on Saturday lunchtime, and it's only the second demo my wife's ever been to, and unfortunately, there was only about 10 people turned up. But whoever did that, fair play to them. We got people, you know, thousands of people came out all across the country. So whoever did that day of action, and again, I want to say something about the pledge. The pledge is not a street movement. People are saying, you know, should we do these things with the pledge? That's not my gut instinct. And I'll tell you why, because the pledge is a document that's there for lobbying people. So what we don't want to do is put people in a position where they're feeling like they have to go out on a demo or anything like that. So I don't think I'd use the pledge for that. what we could do is email people in the pledge mailing list if there's something that we're involved in that we support, and say it might be an idea to go to this. But yeah, so we're working all these things out, and it's like everything with all this. We're finding our way as we're going. We're like it's like we're walking in the dark. We've got our hands out, making sure we're not tripping over anything. So we're doing what we're doing slowly, and we're building it slowly. But I do think the pledge is by far the best option for saving our country. I really do, guys. And once we've got a critical mass, the politicians will listen. Let's say we've over 50,000, which is nothing to be to be laughed at, because it's we haven't had any money to promote it. We haven't, we've self-funded the whole thing. We've promoted it ourselves. But yeah, let's see. All the best. I was looking for the answer. Yeah, do you know what it was, John? It was at the Conway Square, the town hall, or what used to be the town hall. I'm not sure if it is anymore. Just near the Blair Main Cafe there. So that's where it was. Right, guys, I am definitely going now. Yeah, there's a pledge Facebook account, 100%. There's a pledge group, and there's a pledge page. Again, they don't get updated as much as they possibly could do, because we're all busy, and it's just the same old, the same old trade-off, isn't it? Okay, guys, brilliant seeing you all. Thanks for everybody diving on. Shohab, see you soon, mate. We'll get you on another live soon. Tell you what, actually, if anybody knows Trevor Colt, right, I'd love to have Trevor Colt on my channel. Now, he's been in the comments a few times. So, Trevor, I'm not sure if you're watching this, mate. If you can find a way of getting in touch with me, I don't want to give my email address out, but if you can find a way of getting in touch with me, please do. And I want to get you on, because I want to talk about what's been happening with you. If you can talk about it, if you can't, don't worry about it. But I saw a video you did the other day that really annoyed me, because it looked like people have been attacking you, slandering you, and I've been in that situation. So yeah, let me know, Trevor. Get in touch, and we'll have a chat, veteran to veteran. We can talk about what you've done, and your story. And yeah, right, guys, I am going to leave it there. I'm going to go. Again, good seeing you all, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks again. And don't forget, like, subscribe to Counter Media on YouTube, as well as this channel, and my Twitter, if you can follow me on Twitter as well, which I think you just type in Richard Inman, you should find me easy enough. Okay, guys, see you all soon.